Football is a man's game because women hit like girls. They run like girls. And they never play with passion.
Simply unbelievable.
This game will never mean as much to women as it does to men. The game has never been played by women until now.
I am ready right now and tonight to see it come out of each and every one of you. And if you do not have that juice right now, don't go out on that field with me. Because if you aren't hyped like I am, and you ain't ready to foam at the mouth, I don't need you.
Welcome to LFL Football Night in Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, LFL fans. Mitch Mortaza joining you alongside Bobby Huco. A little bit later, Miss Desi Mitchison down on our sidelines. Bobby, here we are in Eastern Conference matchup. You've got the Omaha Heart coming into Atlanta to take on the Steam. This is a pair of teams looking to take the next step.
Absolutely. Here it is, week 8, and nobody expected Omaha to be in first place in the Eastern Conference. They're the only team with a victory right now. Not even Chicago has a victory, but Atlanta has yet to play a game. This is their first game of this season, and they might open up a lot of the Omaha players' eyes tonight.
Now, you're talking a lot about Atlanta. This is a team that's had great regular season play, but has actually imploded in the postseason, namely against the Chicago Bliss. What can we expect of this 2016 roster?
It's going to shock you, but I'm going to start off talking about the quarterback, Dakota Hughes. One of the best in the LFL. She can sling it all over the football field. She got written up a lot last year. She started believing the hype and didn't play good toward the end of the season. Talked to Dane Robinson, the head coach. He said she is ready to go, and she will be accountable for herself this year.
Now, she's going up against a very improved Omaha Heart team. This team beat the New England Liberty in their opener this season, 26-6. For a closer look at the Heart roster, we go down to the field with Desi Mitchison.
Thanks, Mitchell. Despite being 1-0 and currently leading the Eastern Conference, the Omaha Heart feel as though they have something to prove. Omaha was the laughingstock of the LFL last season, and it has been head coach Tony DeRamis's mission since the minute he was hired to rebuild this franchise and change their losing culture. Coach DeRamis knows it was one thing to beat the Liberty, but by taking down Atlanta would really put this rebuild back on the map. Remember, Omaha lost their 2015 matchups against Atlanta by a combined score of 133-13. It may be a new coaching staff, but the Heart have not forgotten that. Back to you.
Thanks, Desi. That will set the stage. It's the Omaha Heart versus the Atlanta Steam. Say it with me. Kickoff is next. Back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Huco inside the booth, and Desi Mitchison on our field as Omaha gets us underway.
Atlanta head coach Dane Robinson has this Atlanta team ready to go. They are stacked with talent. It's going to be fun to watch them tonight.
And that is Jesse Locklear, the second-year running back, bringing it back for 18 yards. Great field position for Atlanta as we visit with the starting quarterback for Atlanta, Dakota Hughes.
Dakota, your head coach, Dane Robinson, felt as if an overinflated ego prevented you from improving last season. Do you think that's a valid statement?
I respect everything Coach Dane has to say, especially when it's opinions towards me. It is unfortunate that he misconstrued my confidence as arrogance.
Dakota Hughes, she is one of the finest quarterbacks in the LFL. You can see her stats right there, outstanding. Coach Dane Robinson was upset the way she played in the playoffs in Chicago. That's why she wants to bring her ego down a little bit.
We will have to wait to see how Dakota Hughes throws the ball as they open it up with Brittany Demery in a no-huddle offense. Demery gaining 8 yards on that carry, ball out to the Omaha 21-yard line. That's another pitch play to Demery. Demery on the right side this time, gaining 10 yards and moving the sticks once again. Let's meet the starters for Atlanta's offense.
Teresa Petrozello, wide receiver.
Lauren Ziegler, wide receiver. Charlene Fuller, your tight end. Adrian Purnell, your tight end. Dina Wajowski, your center.
Brittany Demery, running back.
Dakota Hughes, quarterback.
It's going to be fun to watch this passing game with the addition of Teresa Petrozello to go along with Lauren Ziegler.
They're going to go to Petrozzullo in the back of the end zone. That pass going incomplete, now setting up a 2nd and 10. A lot of Hart players will recognize number 4, Teresa Petrozzullo. She played a full season in Omaha. Now looking for a fresh start in Atlanta.
During the interviews this week, Petrozzullo and Ziegler, this passing game is on fire in practice. We're going to see if they can do it in the game.
A lot of weapons on the outside for Atlanta. Lauren Ziegler, Teresa Petrozzullo. They even will flank out Jessie Locklear from time to time. Now a 2nd and 10 play ball at the 11 of Omaha. Handoff again to Brittany Demery, who's getting a lot of touches in this opening drive. This time Demery limited to 4 yards as we meet the starters for Omaha.
Lauren Fogel, defensive back. Alexis Wagner, cornerback. Amanda Hogan, safety. Jamie Lundberg, free safety.
Shalyn Durham, linebacker.
Sarah Jane Thompson, defensive end.
Deja Phillips, defensive end.
Good job. Let's keep pushing. Ohio left, be outside, don't block left.
The key player on that Omaha defense is going to be Shalyn Durham, the middle linebacker. She has to plug up that Atlanta running game.
A 3rd and 6 from the shotgun. Handoff to Brittany Demery. And Demery throwing around that weight a little bit, gaining 3 yards. Amanda Hogan on the tackle.
Demery is relentless. When she gets the ball and goes north-south, it's tough to stop her one-on-one. You're going to have to gang tackle her tonight.
Brittany Demery, part of a power back set here in Atlanta. They are firmly aware that they have a great passing game with Dakota Hughes. Now trying to develop a more balanced offense is Dane Robinson and offensive coordinator Mark White. A 4th and 3 for this Atlanta offense to the left side of the end zone. Right through the arms of the Omaha defender, and that is Lauren Ziegler.
For some reason, defensive back Alexis Wagner, she came off of Ziegler. She had man coverage out there. She dropped off, left her open in the corner, and Dakota Hughes put the ball right on the money. Just a bad play by defensive back Wagner.
And if you watched any game film of Atlanta's offense, number 14 is a primary target for Dakota Hughes. How you allow her to get open in the back of the end zone is unbelievable.
Coach Tony Duramis, he didn't even have the defense switched over. There was a trips coverage. There was only 2 DBs out there.
And that is the extra point attempt. Jessie Locklear getting into the end zone as Atlanta draws first blood. They're up 7-0.
That was more bad defense by Omaha than good offense by Atlanta. They sent a trip set out there, but Atlanta didn't adjust their secondary over there. They only put 2 DBs. Ziegler wide open in the end zone.
We will get a look at this Omaha offense. And that is Lindsey Howell, the starting quarterback. Was named the starter in the offseason by head coach Tony Duramis, and they're going to hand it off to Marissa Riley. Riley gaining only a yard, and Adrian Purnell on the tackle.
Quarterback Lindsey Howell was very confident when I spoke to her this week. She really thought she could beat Atlanta, but her footwork on the opening play really shoddy. It looked like a real broken play. Just luckily got the ball to the running back.
That loss of a 1 setting up a 2nd and 11. Atlanta already on the board here early in the first quarter. And now a tight bunch set by the Omaha offense. Howell under center, handoff. That looked to be a false start, no penalty. That is Sarah Jane Thompson, and she is not going anywhere. Again, Adrian Purnell on the tackle as we meet the starters for Omaha's offense.
Lindsay Noble, wide receiver.
Marissa Mitchell-Riley, wide receiver. Vanessa Regis, tight end. Jessica Slobotsky, tight end.
Brenda Pavelka, center.
Nikki Bernhardt, running back.
Lindsey Howell, your quarterback.
The key to tonight's game is quarterback Lindsey Howell. She has to be a great game manager and keep the turnovers to a minimum.
A 3rd and 10 play now. Howell from the shotgun. That is Brittany Demery rushing off the edge and leaving her mark offensively and defensively. As we go to a media timeout, it is Atlanta early and often, up 7-0. Back to LFL football night here in Atlanta, Georgia. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Hugo. And the Omaha Heart now electing to punt the ball. The only time you're allowed to punt the ball in the LFL is if you're backed up inside your own 10-yard line. Jalen Durham back to punt, and we've got a delay of game.
Delay of game, 12 offense. 5-yard penalty, remaining 4th down.
I'm really disappointed in Coach Tony Daramis right now. The way he spoke to me this week, he was going to come out sharp. This team is not sharp right now. How do you come out of a break and get a delay of game?
That is a bit baffling. This is a franchise that has been absolutely plagued with poor coaching and poor execution the last 2 years. A 4th and 15 punt coming up. Jalen Durham barely getting that off. Great high punt. Jesse Locklear back to receive, and I'm not sure what happened there. They're calling this a dead ball. They're going to say she fair caught that punt. A great high kick by Jalen Durham.
Durham lucky to get that off. That was a poor snap. Brenda Pavelka, it was like a lob back there. Somehow she caught the ball and Durham got it off. That's been their best offensive play so far, which is scary that a punt's the best play they've had.
Dakota Hughes going back to work from the shotgun. Quick release. That is Lauren Ziegler in the flat. Ziegler gaining 8 yards on the reception. Jalen Durham.
Let's go.
And words being exchanged with Amanda Hogan. Lauren Ziegler having quite the night, and obviously a great 2015 season, Bobby.
All fantasy wide receiver. She is one of my favorite players in the LFL on both sides of the football. Just simply an outstanding wide receiver.
2nd and 2, ball at the Atlanta 23-yard line. Hughes looking down the field now, looking to check down. Taking off with it now. That is something that we have not seen a lot from Dakota Hughes. She did manage 14 yards, but we do have a penalty. Head referee Gregory Edwards having a busy night here in the first quarter.
I think they called this a penalty on Lauren Ziegler. I see where the flag is thrown, but watch Ziegler. This is an outstanding block right on, and they threw a flag on Ziegler. You know, this is a great officiating crew, but sometimes you got to question their eyesight.
That is Gregory Edwards. They're still debating the call.
Blocking the back, lead blocker, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
And you're right, Bobby. They're going to call this on Lauren Ziegler. And here's another look at it. You can see that is a clean block by number 14. I'm not sure how they can call that a block in the back.
That's one of the best blocks I've seen by a LFL wide receiver coming off the ball like that, and they called a penalty on it. Unbelievable.
That will back up this Atlanta offense 5 yards. Ball now at the 18-yard line for Dakota Hughes. And the most high-powered offense in the league. Now looking to the flat. That is complete to Jesse Locklear. Locklear very active with this team early in the first quarter.
You can tell during the offseason what kind of studying of this offense Dakota Hughes did. Her anticipation of when the receiver is going to break is simply outstanding.
Great patience in the pocket, number 18. That has been the debate the last 2 years. Who is the elite quarterback in the LFL? That conversation usually narrows down to KK Matheny of Seattle. And that young lady, Dakota Hughes. Now a little frustrated with a receiver that was supposed to be in motion. That is a pitch play to Brittany Demry. Demry looking impressive here early, gaining 6 yards on that carry.
I'll tell you what, for a big back, Demry really has oily hips. The way she can slide around blockers and get around tacklers. I mean, she's got those oily hips.
Oily hips, that is a barbecue recipe down here in Atlanta, Bobby. We are in the South. Brittany Demry committing to trim down this offseason for the opportunity to play some running back. Now a 2nd and 4 for this offense. Handoff again to Demry, this time finding a hole, breaking it to the outside. And into the end zone, number 2. That is a 17-yard touchdown run.
He is an outstanding north-south runner. And what a block by Charlene Fuller. Watch this block, the kick-out block right there. There's the hole. There's 2 blocks by Fuller. Puts her in the end zone. Brittany Demry.
Demry in this Atlanta offense having success because of the front line. Tina Wojcicki, Charlene Fuller, and Adrienne Purnell really leading the run block.
I know it's early, but they are dominating the defensive line of Omaha.
That was a 4-play, 35-yard drive, taking 2:47 off the clock, and more importantly, extending their lead to 13-0. Atlanta now lining up for the extra point. And that is pressure off the edge by Alexis Wagner. Will not matter. There's Lauren Ziegler signing the ball, handing it off to Lauren Fogel. And that will extend Atlanta's lead to 14-0.
Really sharp throw by Dakota Hughes. Ziegler simply stopped in the end zone. There's going to be tight coverage inside the 5-yard line with the back of the end zone, bringing the DBs in. She stuck it right in her gut. Great throw and a great catch by Ziegler.
Omaha and this offense now finding itself in a 14-0 hole, taking over its own 15-yard line. How important is it here, Bobby, to get some continuity on this offense?
Absolutely. They have to take the ball and throw it down the field. They have to open up that Atlanta defense somehow. Hal's got to throw the ball down the field.
Hal now in the shotgun, a first down play, dump off to Nikki Barnhart. Barnhart, a recent pickup, and that is good enough for 6 yards.
Blitz! It's a blitz! Run the blitz! It wasn't empty! It was not empty! Cut black! It wasn't empty! Run the blitz! It's a missed opportunity!
That is great Dane Robinson of the Atlanta Steam.
Wow.
Getting a piece of his defense, Bobby.
I think he wanted them to blitz on that play.
I think so. A 2nd and 4 ball at the Omaha 21. Again, a dump off. This time to Vanessa Regis, a tight end. It seems like Omaha's content to move the ball with the release play.
I love it. This is great calls. Great throw here by Hal. They're coming with everybody. As soon as they go by, you release the tight ends. They had a 6-yard gain, now another 6-yard gain. I like it.
The Omaha offense finally showing some momentum here. Now a 1st and 10 ball at the Atlanta 23-yard line. That is Lindsey Howell remaining in under center. Sarah Jane Thompson in the backfield fakes it to Thompson, dumping it off to Nikki Bernhardt. And Bernhardt gaining 11 yards. That'll be enough for another Omaha first down.
I really like the play selection by Tony Doremus. They're coming with a full blitz every play, and Howell's reading the blitz, quick release to their tight ends, and it's working. They're going right down the field.
Kill you.
Coach Dane Robinson not happy with Alfie Gore. When you blitz like that, you have to cover the open receiver where the blitzer was, and they're not doing that, and they're moving the ball right down the field.
A 1st and 10, poor snap. That is going to be complete to Sarah Jane Thompson, and Thompson losing the ball. That is Lauren Ziegler on the recovery.
Great play by Keon Harrison. Ziegler had the coverage. Harrison came over and stripped the ball. Great play by the Atlanta defense.
Atlanta will take over, up 14-0.
John Joy, protecting LFL athletes and the game.
Hey, look at me. I asked you if I can trust you on the field. You're making me into a goddamn idiot.
Head coach Dane Robinson of Atlanta mic'd up tonight. Still getting after that defense.
Not happy with his cornerbacks at all. Alfie Gore and Keon Harrison.
A 1st and 10 for the Atlanta offense. That was a sloppy looking play. That's going to result in a penalty. Gregory Edwards now had about 4 or 5 calls just in the first quarter.
False start. Offense, number 14. Half the distance to the goal, remains first down.
Even though that was a false start on Atlanta, I'm really disappointed in the Omaha defense. They bring a wide receiver in motion, and Omaha brings nobody over there, so they outnumber the defense on the blocking assignments.
A 1st and 12 now. Handoff to Brittany Demery. That was half the distance. And look at Demery just steamrolling over defenders. Demery showing a lot of athleticism.
Sarah Jane Thompson comes strong off the edge. One-on-one against Demery. She goes too high. You cannot bring down Brittany Demery up high. She's going to steamroll you like she is right there.
A lot of poor arm tackling by Omaha. And you mentioned it, Bobby. When you're up against a big back like Brittany Demery, you cannot go high. It seemed like everybody went high and paid the price. A 1st and 10 now for Atlanta. They're going to fake the handoff to Demery this time. That is Dakota Hughes. And Sarah Jane Thompson this time cleaning up.
Sarah Jane Thompson, she didn't make a tackle on the previous play against Demery, but right there, she shows she's probably the most all-around athlete on this team on both sides of the ball.
Thompson very frustrated about the 2015 season. Vowed to return and make a difference. Thus far, a great start against New England, as we mentioned, but looking sloppy tonight. We'll see if Omaha can rebound here. That is a fake handoff. Dakota Hughes back to pass. Great defensive play. And Ziegler may have come up with it. They're going to call that an incomplete pass.
Amy Ludberg, she's a fire plug defensive back. She almost comes up with a pick. Just a bad read here by Dakota Hughes. She's hooked right into double coverage. Ziegler still almost came up with the ball.
A 3rd and 8 now. Atlanta trying to take a demonstrative lead, already up 14-0. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. In an Eastern Conference matchup that Omaha Heart actually leads the division, believe it or not, at 1-0. Atlanta yet to play, and now from the shotgun, Dakota Hughes looking over the middle, Shailene Durham. And I'm not sure that wasn't a pass interference. This crowd not liking it.
You can't just tackle her. You can't just tackle her like that. Stay on your side. Hey, you're right. You know I'm uncatchable. You're right.
Dane Robinson totally upset. This is pass interference. Durham mauls her. That should have been a call against Omaha. How the refs didn't see that, I'll never know.
Durham was all over Jesse Locklear. And this is a 4th and 8 play. Wide open is Locklear. What a catch. That ball was thrown a little outside of Locklear, but she came up with it. And that is a 25-yard play.
Great catch by Locklear, but a better throw down the middle. That's how you beat cover 2 right there, unless it's a Tampa 2, which it was not. The safety split Hogan and Wagner, and she went right down the middle. Great catch.
That was a bit of a good catch and a good pass play by Dakota Hughes. That'll set up a 1st and goal for this Atlanta offense. A little miscommunication with Jesse Locklear will not matter. Locklear getting into the end zone. And now Atlanta up 20-0.
I love to watch Jessie Locklear run the football. She is quicker than she's fast. She's great in open space. Watch your little moves right there to get in the end zone. Solid running back.
That was a huge 4th and 8 play going back. If they don't convert that, Omaha has prime field position. Locklear coming up big on that 25-yard reception, later setting up her own touchdown. And Locklear again going back to work, this time on the extra point. That is good, and Atlanta extends its lead to 21-0.
The cornerbacks of Omaha, Wagner and Fogel, they're not coming off the ball off the edge. And anytime Atlanta runs outside, they're walking in.
What does Omaha have to do here, Bobby? I mean, you were down 21-0 on the road against a perennial powerhouse like Atlanta.
They actually looked good last time they had the football. If it wasn't for that strip where Ziegler recovered the fumble, they were going in the end zone. It would have been 14-7. Now they're down 21-0. It could get ugly.
Howell under center, 1st and 10 play, handoff to Nikki Bernhardt. Omaha giving Bernhardt a lot of touches early. As we said earlier, she is a recent pickup, so you got to wonder how much she's acclimated with this offense.
That's a great point. But I don't understand how Coach Tony Doremus, the last series, he completes 3 passes in a row, almost a 4th, and now he stops it with a tight end around like that. Atlanta was all over him, but why not stick with what's moving the football down the field?
Especially when you've got an Atlanta defense that is hell-bent on stopping the run with a run defense and blitzing every opportunity they can get.
It was a great adjustment. They read the blitz and they started dumping the football off.
And on cue, there is the Atlanta defense blitzing Howell. Brittany Demry with the sack.
Lindsey Howell has to read the hot receiver. They're coming with 4. You mentioned it. They're doing twists outside. Nobody's blocking them. You're going to get killed if you don't release the football.
A loss of 4 yards on that Howell sack. Now a 3rd and 12, ball backed up to the Omaha 13-yard line. Demry just an absolute wrecking crew on both sides of the ball for Atlanta early.
Omaha probably cannot believe that they had her at one point and they let her go to Atlanta.
That is Brittany Demry, a free agent that was picked up by Atlanta. That's a 3rd and 12 play, no good. Dina Wojciechowski draped all over Nikki Bernhardt.
Coach Tony Duramus, he had so many accolades when he spoke about Nikki Bernhardt, a great all-around athlete. He wants to get the ball in her hands as much as he can tonight.
Bernhardt targeted here several times in the first half. A little curious as to why not Lindsay Noble. Noble had a lot of success against New England earlier in the season, and is obviously a veteran player, have been part of this roster for 3 seasons.
That's a great point. She was open on the last play, Lindsay Noble. She couldn't see him. She was seeing ghosts in the pocket and delivered it to the wrong receiver.
Now a 4th and 12. There's Demry. Vanessa Regis has no chance against Demry. Regis, the tight end, getting absolutely blown up.
Just a terrible block by Vanessa Regis. That's the old lookout block. Demry went right around her and killed the quarterback.
Atlanta taking over in prime field position at the Omaha 8-yard line. This is something you could not do if you were the Omaha Hard coming in tonight. You know this is a powerful offense in Atlanta. If you give them a short field, they're going to score.
Short field, and they turn the ball over. They had to stop all that tonight, and they're not. It's already 21-0, and Atlanta's going in again.
Wait for the whistle. Wait for the whistle.
Dakota Hughes and company now 1st and goal. Ball about the 8-yard line. Nobody out in the flat, and that is Teresa Petrozzullo. An obvious blown assignment defensively for Omaha. Leads to another Atlanta score, and we've got a penalty here.
Offside, defense, number 12. The penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
That penalty goes on Omaha, obviously declined. And what a blown assignment here, Bobby.
Wow, I believe that's a smoke read by Dakota Hughes. Anytime a quarterback sees an uncovered receiver, no matter what the play call is, you just take the football and throw it to her. Easy touchdown for Atlanta. Terrible coverage by Omaha.
Now the extra point attempt for Atlanta, already up 27-0. This will be a 1-point attempt from the 1-yard line. Another toss play, and again to Jessie Locklear, not contested at all. And she'll extend Atlanta's lead to 28-0.
We mentioned it before, but the corners of Omaha are not playing well at all. They're not coming up, and they're walking into the end zone. Anytime they go outside, there's nobody coming up.
Omaha somehow has to dig deep now. This is shades of the ghosts of 2015, where they were losing ball games by big margins. This team is far too talented to be down 28-0.
Last year, Atlanta beat Omaha by a combined score of 133-13. Here they are doing it again.
A 1st and 10 play ball at the Omaha 15-yard line. Lindsey Howell remains in at quarterback, struggling tonight. That is a quick screen. Sarah Jane Thompson, I'm not sure if that's not a live ball. That looked to be a lateral, and Sarah Jane Thompson had no clue.
Sarah Jane Thompson, the veteran, you have to fall on the football. I believe you're right. I think that's a lateral. I think that's Atlanta's football.
Unbelievable. And that is the look of Tony Duramus, head coach of Omaha. You cannot allow a ball to just sit on the ground when it's in doubt like that.
This does not look like the same team that beat New England. Again, New England is not Atlanta, but they're playing shoddy football right now.
A 1st and 10 quick screen. Lauren Ziegler. Look at Ziegler just finding gaps. That was good for 7 yards.
Get the ball to Ziegler in open space and let her do the rest. She's such a great runner once she gets the football. Easy pass, easy big gain.
Alongside Demry, I don't think anybody's had as big a night as Lauren Ziegler.
Are you shitting me? You didn't call her punching me in the face, but you gonna call that bro?
That's Adrian Purnell not happy with the officiating.
Hey, just because they serious, don't mean you gotta cheat for that.
After completion of the play, personal foul, number 15, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
That is a personal foul on Atlanta. You could see Adrian Purnell fired up about the call. In fact, we sat down with Purnell to talk to her about this game.
Adrian, how do you keep from overlooking a team that you beat last season with a combined score of 133-13?
Well, given my history with the Omaha Heart, I personally overlook them. My team, they may think differently. They want to take it a step at a time. You know, they don't want to overlook anyone, but me personally, I don't see anything in them to be worried about.
Adrian Purnell is one of the most intense players ever to step on the field in the LFL. Every year she makes the all-fantasy team.
And we saw Brittany Demry break off another run. That was for 10 yards. Setting up a 3rd and 3. Demry, they just don't have an answer for her defensively.
They don't have an answer for anybody defensively.
A 3rd and 3 now for the Atlanta offense. And that is a snap that goes through the hands of Dakota Hughes. Hughes recovering, now dumping in the flat. That is Lauren Ziegler. And Ziegler getting into the end zone. Shades of the Chicago playoff game last year, where Hughes turned a high snap into a score. And she does it again, this time with Lauren Ziegler.
Lauren Ziegler is simply destroying it tonight. What a heads-up play by quarterback Dakota Hughes. She kept composure, got the high snap, picked it up, somehow found Ziegler in the flat, and then Ziegler did the rest. This combination of Dakota Hughes to Lauren Ziegler is simply OTP. Wow.
And that was Adrian Purnell with a great seal block, allowing Ziegler into the end zone. We've got an injury down on the field. That is Lundberg, the corner that Omaha is very high on. Hopefully she's able to return to this game. I'm not sure if that'll even matter the way this defense is playing.
That does not look good. She can't put any pressure on that leg at all.
Now the extra point attempt by this offense. This game is all but over. 34 first half points by this offense.
And there's still over 2 minutes left.
That is Shailene Durham. We talked about her, the star middle linebacker, just having a look of bewilderment. That is the extra point attempt, tossed left, Brittany Demry. And it just does not look like anybody wants to even contest these Atlanta runners. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. It has been all Atlanta early, and Lauren Ziegler capping this drive.
Like your favorite LFL players and teams and receive breaking news stories. The LFL's official Facebook page, facebook.com/mylfl.
Back for the final 2 minutes of football here in the first half. It has been a half absolutely dominated by Atlanta.
I'm really disappointed with that Omaha defense. They're doing a lot of catch tackling. They're not delivering the blow. They're waiting for running back and receivers get to them and try to grab them.
Lindsey Howell looking to get any success here in the first half. We've got a trips left with the Omaha offense from the shotgun. Lindsey Howell looking down the seam, intercepted. That is Keon Harrison still on her feet. A great return by Harrison, and Atlanta is back in business.
Just a simple, lousy pass by Lindsey Howell. Nikki Bernhardt was wide open on a corner route behind the secondary. All she has to do is float it out there. Let her run under it. She is wide open on the corner. He throws it way short. That should be a touchdown for Omaha.
Keon Harrison, and that secondary was beat by Nikki Bernhardt. As you said, Howell just simply lacks any arm strength. Part of the reason why a lot of people are wondering why she is starting for Omaha. A 1st and 10 for the Atlanta offense. Multiple receivers open, and that is Adrian Purnell. They're going to mark her down at about the 1-yard line. And a pretty good collision. We've got Adrian Purnell mic'd up. Let's listen in. That's a good lick by number 4, Lindsey Noble. But the damage was already done. Atlanta 1st and goal.
A solid hit by Noble, but we forget how good an offensive player Adrian Purnell is. The problem is there's so many superstars on this offense, she doesn't get the ball much.
1st and goal, that's Lauren Ziegler. She will not be denied. And this game is getting ugly, partner.
This Omaha defense is simply on roller skates tonight, just going backwards. Atlanta can do anything they want against them.
Lauren Ziegler having a career first half. She's one of the more impressive athletes in this league, but I don't think she's ever dominated a game like she has tonight.
Lauren Ziegler, again, one of my all-time favorites in the LFL, having a whale of a game tonight. Omaha head coach Tony Duramus cannot believe it's 41-0 right now.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. Another snap that goes sailing over the head of Dakota Hughes. This looks to be maybe a false start on Atlanta.
False start, 14 offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the try.
As good as this offense has looked at times, they look to be rusty. Keep in mind, we are in week 8, but Atlanta has yet to play a down of football before tonight.
When we spoke to quarterback Dakota Hughes, she mentioned that. Even though they're having great practices, it's not the same as playing in a game. They needed a game like this for when they go against the Chicagos and Seattles and LAs.
The extra point attempt from the 6-yard line. This is still a 1-point conversion. That's Dakota Hughes back in the end zone. Guess who? A young lady wearing number 14, Lauren Ziegler. Atlanta's lead now 42-0.
This is like a scrimmage. There's absolutely zero pressure on Hughes. Look, nobody's rushing. She can stand back there all day until somebody's open. And, of course, Ziegler's wide open in the back of the end zone.
There's the dab. That's getting big here in Atlanta. Started here in the Southeast with Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers, and now Lauren Ziegler picking it up.
He does it a lot better than Cam.
I want to see you do that at halftime, Bobby. With this score, we're going to have plenty of time to do this in the second half.
It's going to be interesting to see if they play all their starters in the second half. Up 42-0. Wow.
And Hal getting sacked by Coco Montgomery. Let's listen in. Atlanta could be the most physical team in the league, just between size, stature, and tenacity. And that young lady, Lindsey Howell, well aware of what she's up against.
It's going to be interesting to see if Atlanta can carry throughout the whole season. Last year, they looked like they were going to be champions, and they faded late.
So far, looking very impressive. Howell will remain in the shotgun with under 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. And we've got a false start. That is right, the false start on Omaha.
False start, number 4 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
That'll back him up 5 yards inside the Omaha 12-yard line.
Lindsey Howell looks shell-shocked right now.
Yeah, that does not look like the look of confidence that you want on your starting quarterback. Howell won the competition in the offseason, and now I'm sure she has a few fans back in Omaha scratching their head. 2nd and 17. Another big pressure set from Atlanta. It seems like everybody is converging on number 11. That's Coco Montgomery getting an extra shot in there.
Atlanta coach Dane Robinson, he mentioned he's bringing the dogs all game long. He's not going to call the dogs off. In fact, he put in so many defensive fronts to confuse the Omaha offensive line, all kind of twists and new things they've never seen before.
You could see Omaha in no hurry to get another play off, as that'll bring us to the end of one half of play, a half that was dominated by Atlanta. Back with halftime festivities after this.
I'm walking out of here with my pride. 3 years with Atlanta and this keeps happening and I'm over it.
A tense Omaha locker room as we welcome you back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Hugo. Now, Bobby, A 42-0 score at halftime. In case you're wondering, this is the most lopsided score in the history of the league at halftime. Omaha down, obviously. Talk to us about the first half.
Atlanta totally dominating this game. All facets of the game, they are incredibly taking over Omaha right now. Their quarterback, Dakota Hughes, it's a pick-or-poison type night. She has 3 touchdown passes already, 90 yards through the air. Their running game, over 7 yards per carry. And Omaha, all they can do is muster 19 yards of offense so far.
Now, you always talk about quarterbacks when we do these broadcasts, but there's another young lady that's had a pretty good first half of football. Talk to us about Lauren Ziegler.
Lauren Ziegler, her fingerprints are all over the football field in the first half. Already she has 3 touchdowns, and she's creating havoc all over that defensive side.
She's been a big part of the scoring in the first half. Let's take a look at some of those highlights. First, it was on the ground. 3 scores on the ground. Brittany Demry on this touchdown run, followed by Jessie Locklear. And then there is Lauren Ziegler taking it in. Through the air, it was Dakota Hughes connecting with Lauren Ziegler on a pair of touchdown scores, then finding Teresa Petrozzulo. That brings us to our halftime score of 42-0 as we now take a look at the first half stats.
Mitch, pick any category you want. Atlanta totally dominating Omaha tonight. Omaha simply did not show up.
And that will do it for us here at halftime of LFL Football Night. As the teams return to the field, we get you ready for the second half. Kickoff is next.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
Welcome back to LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Hugo and Desi Mitchison in a game that has been an absolute slaughter, 42-0. And that is Lauren Ziegler getting us underway. A squib kick, barely recovered by Nikki Bernhardt.
They're not calling off the dogs. A little squib kick to start the second half, trying to get a quick fumble and the ball back.
A 1st and 10, a much-needed 1st and 10 for this Omaha offense. An offense that's been inept at times. You mentioned there was a turning point where they managed 3 straight completions and then the fumble by Sarah Jane Thompson in the first half.
That was the turning point. If they don't fumble that football, they're moving the ball. They have no answer to those quick passes that countered the blitz. They would have got in the end zone, would have been 14-7. They'd be in the ball game.
Another key play, Lindsey Howell's numbers there in the first half, not attractive at all. Did miss Nikki Bernhardt on that go pattern as well. That was another big play of the first half. So a lot of missed opportunities for Omaha. And talking of missed opportunities, wide open was Brenda Pavelka. And Lindsey Howell missing her.
Howell again seeing ghosts in the pocket. Receiver wide open, throw it way behind her. You got to deliver the football on time. Right when that blitz comes in, throw it, boom. And she's not doing it.
Now, being a former quarterback, Bobby, how much of that has to do with being under duress all night?
Well, that's what counters duress. The quick read, the high receiver. And she has him open. She was hitting him earlier, but now she's not.
Howell under center, poor handling of the ball. And this looks to be recovered once again by Atlanta. That is Adrienne Purnell. This could be the 4th fumble tonight by Omaha.
Howell is not looking good. She can't even take a snap right now. I think a lot of these Omaha players, they were ego surfing after that big win against New England. They thought they're better than they are. They're not playing football tonight.
I think that is an excellent point, Bobby. You can't get too high on beating an expansion team in the New England Liberty and try to bring that confidence into Atlanta. It's just not working out for them. Another poor snap by Dina Wojcicki. Speaking of poor snaps, and Jessie Locklear getting up. I'm not sure anybody touched her. It looks like they're going to give her the yardage here.
This is simply not knowing the rules of football. He's not touched by anybody. Touches, she's down. You saw earlier on that pass, the quick screen where it was a fumble. They didn't drop on the football. I blame the coaching staff for not coaching this team on the rules.
That looked like Dakota Hughes, a very heads-up play, blocking the hand of the Omaha defender from touching Jessie Locklear. And that is Dakota Hughes on a quarterback scramble. Hughes gaining 7 yards.
Great read option by quarterback Dakota Hughes. She knew when to pull the football. They went after the running back. She pulled it for a big gainer.
That 8-yard run, 7-yard run actually, setting up a 3rd and 1. And there's Hughes' first half numbers, 3 touchdown passes.
He's getting her game together. She is the finest passer I've seen in the league, and she's got 2 outstanding receivers. With the addition of Teresa Petrozzillo, wow, what a combination.
From the shotgun, Hughes, a lot of time in the pocket, finding a receiver. And speaking of Teresa Petrozzillo, getting into the end zone and extending what was already an insurmountable lead.
When you got Petrozzillo in there at one side, Ziegler on the other, they don't know who to cover. Again, just a great pass by Dakota Hughes. The coverage was there. She delivered a strike right into coverage for a touchdown.
Petrozzillo playing for the Omaha Heart last season. One of 2 key player pickups, Brittany Demery being the other, as Atlanta setting up again for a 1-point conversion. They're going to hand it off. Why not? Jessie Locklear. Locklear has been the extra point conversion specialist, extending Atlanta's lead to 49-0.
How about those road graders on the front line with Jowski, Purnell, and Charlize Fuller just destroying the Omaha defensive line?
Coach Tony DeRamus, I'm not sure what level of frustration he's in right now, but it's got to be a high one.
I'd say it's about 99.
Yeah, whenever your offense cannot advance the ball and your defense is running an Olay defense, they're not tackling anybody, that is the look you're going to have. A 1st and 10 for the Omaha offense from the 15. Fakes the handoff. Again, a release play to Nikki Bernhardt. Give credit to Bernhardt. She knew she was going to be lit up and held on to the ball.
Give credit to Tony DeRamus, going back to the only plays that worked all night. Keep doing that play until they stop it.
And we've got Lauren Ziegler mic'd up. Let's listen in. There's a lot of hitting going on, specifically on the Atlanta side of the ball.
Big hits, the safeties are coming up, but again, that's the play that worked for Omaha early in the night. Just keep doing it.
And I'd be concerned if I was Atlanta about the only thing going wrong is that release play that this defense cannot seem to cover. Howell again, speaking of a release play, there you go. That is, this time, Vanessa Regis, and Regis gaining 8 yards.
I think Atlanta coach Dane Robinson, he's going to see that Lindsey Howell does not have good arm strength. He's going to bring the safeties up and just stop those quick passes because they're not going deep. They can't go deep.
Regis being targeted in this game several times. Standing 5'8", 158 pounds. A great target for Lindsey Howell. Now a 2nd and 2 for this offense. They've just got to hold on to the football and not turn it over like they did the entire first half. Howell under center, handoff to Sarah Jane Thompson. And that defense all over Thompson, only a gain of a yard.
Last year when Omaha was getting destroyed like they are tonight, we mentioned how their offense had no scheme, no kind of plan, no rhythm. It kind of looks like the same offense, except for those quick passes. They haven't done anything all night.
And strategically, Atlanta not scared of Lindsey Howell's arm at all, are lining up 4 and 5 defenders in the box. You could see here they've got 4 rushers getting ready to get after this offense. And a quick slant pattern, that one to Riley, thrown well behind her. And that'll take us to a media timeout here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's the Atlanta Steam up 49-0.
Follow your favorite LFL players and teams and receive breaking news stories. Like the LFL's official Twitter page, twitter.com/mylfl.
Back to 3rd quarter action of LFL football night with the Atlanta Steam up 49-0, and now we've got flying UFOs.
That drone is on the Omaha bench looking for some offense. Hasn't seen anything over there.
A 3rd and 9 play now for Lindsey Howell in this rather inept Omaha offense thus far. Howell under center looking into the flat. And that's Lindsey Noble, and that is an incomplete pass. That is the first time Noble's been targeted.
Mitch, I'm really frustrated with this Omaha team tonight. I really thought they had a team this year. We watched that New England game. They played solid football, but right now they're playing just like they did in 2015.
There are a lot of correlations between the disaster of 2015 and what we're seeing tonight in Atlanta. A 4th and 9 play now for this Omaha offense. And here comes the crowd. Howell under center. Taking her time, faking the handoff, throwing down the middle. What an ugly pass. I'm not sure if that ball slipped out of her hands. That was a duck. Here's another look at it, Bobby. That had no chance.
That might have been the worst throw I've ever seen in the history of the LFL.
There will be a few people back in Omaha wondering why Howell is still the quarterback. Perhaps she's the best option on this roster. If that's the case, Omaha's in trouble. That's Amanda Ruler finally getting into the ball game and gaining 5 yards. Ruler made her mark in Los Angeles and now trying to break into this Atlanta roster.
That tells you the depth of this Atlanta roster. Amanda Ruler, a solid football player that played for the LA Temptation. He's finding a hard time to get playing time here in Atlanta.
Ruler playing behind Brittany Demry and Jessie Locklear. As you said, a great talent out of Los Angeles, going to get some looks here in an ugly game. I think anybody would look good against this defense tonight.
Amanda Ruler, even though it's 49-0, she knows this is her time of the game to show what she has to this Atlanta coaching staff. She follows the blocks, good kick-out block there by Adrian Purnell, and a solid game by Ruler.
That was good enough for an Atlanta first down. Ball at the 18-yard line. Dakota Hughes looking to the end zone again, has a receiver. This is just getting far too easy. That is Adrian Purnell, about the only player that has not scored yet for Atlanta.
What a great read by Dakota Hughes. Adrian Purnell had one-on-one coverage, and to be one-on-one coverage, you do crossing route. There's Purnell, boom, she comes across, wide open, great throw by Hughes.
This almost looks like one of those quarterback challenges where there's no pass rush, no pressure on the quarterback. You just have to hit moving targets.
You're absolutely right. This is a game just for Dakota Hughes to sharpen her skills. It's not going to be this easy when the LAs come to town.
Now the extra point attempt. Handoff this time to look like to number 19, Amanda Ruler. Ruler having some fun here in the third quarter. One of several players that should get a look here in garbage time.
Omaha just looks like they gave up. There's no fire. Nobody's excited. Even though it's down, you still have to play football.
That was a 3-play, 32-yard drive, taking up only a minute 22. That has been one of the big stories of this game, are the short fields for this Atlanta offense.
And you can't give a potent offense like this a short field, especially in the red zone.
1st and 10, again, Howell under center. And again, the release play. That should have been caught by Brenda Pavelka. One of the few times Howell looked good.
Pavelka's got hands like feet. He's a center. She's not supposed to have great hands, but you know what? You practice that in practice. You catch the ball, you got to do it in a game.
Yeah, in the LFL game, everybody is eligible, the tight ends and the center. Pavelka not looking good in this game. 2nd and 10 now. Ball remains at the Omaha 15-yard line. Howell looking over that defense under center. Fakes the handoff again. Another release play. This one is complete. Breaking through arm tackles. Nikki Bernhardt. Stop the presses. Omaha is in the end zone.
Great read by Lindsey Howell. They came with the blitz. He finds Bernhardt underneath, wide open. The ball was high. Watch how high the ball is. Here's a read. The blitz comes, boom. The ball's high. Ziegler goes for the ball instead of Bernhardt, and she breaks it for a 6. What an athletic play by Bernhardt.
And if you're going to make that gamble.
Block in the back, number 10, offense.
Oh, wow.
First down.
This is a penalty on the Omaha Heart just when they could least afford a penalty. This is a block in the back. I don't see that, Bobby. That call against Marissa Mitchell-Riley. That looked like the runner was well past.
That's a phantom call, but Mitchell-Riley has to know that that block was not even needed. Bernhardt was in the end zone, and she tried to block. They called it, so it's a penalty, but it really wasn't a penalty.
I got to tell you, I've seen some poor officiating this season. But this has been the worst crew that I've seen. Multiple large plays blown because of poor officiating.
Obvious plays, too. It's amazing they called that a penalty.
Instead of a score for Omaha, it'll be a 1st and 10. Ball at the Atlanta 21-yard line, and we've got another penalty flag. This is starting to get really ugly.
I believe they're calling 4 people in the box, which Atlanta's been doing all night.
Illegal defense, number 17, is inside the box. 4 players inside the box. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You're right, Bobby. They're calling 4 people in the box. Normally, you can only have 2 defensive ends and the Mike middle linebacker, but they're sneaking the strong safety in there as well. And to your point, they've been doing that all night. And what's more alarming than that, the Omaha coaches are not complaining about it.
It's amazing. They've been doing it since the game started, and I don't think the Omaha coaches caught it until right now.
Now a 1st and 5, ball at the Atlanta 16-yard line. From the shotgun, Howell going to go to the end zone. Just overthrows Lindsey Noble. At least they're taking shots into the end zone.
They're taking shots, but I can't tell you how big a call that was, the clip on Mitchell Riley. If that touchdown was allowed, they would have been within 49 points.
Now, I know you're being sarcastic, Bobby, but that was a big play. When you're down 56-0, you're looking for any ray of sunshine.
You're absolutely right, and I hate to say that. You're right, I was sarcastic. And even with this loss tonight, they're still 1-1. They have a shot.
And that is what they can look for, that they're still very active in the Eastern Conference. Sitting at 1-1 right now in Chicago at 0-1. And this is Lindsey Howell, no luck. She lost the ball once again. Luckily, Sarah Jane Thompson there to recover.
They are not calling off the dogs. This front 4, and I say front 4 because they're bringing a linebacker every play. They're out-manning the blockers from Omaha, 4-3 every play, and they're killing the quarterback.
That's a look at Coco Montgomery, the defensive end. If you play on that D-line for Atlanta, this has got to be fun. You're just pinning your ears back and getting after Lindsey Howell.
That combination of Coco Montgomery and Brittany Demry, that's 2 of the best in the league.
And that is a 3rd down play. Nikki Bernhardt. And I'm not sure what Bernhardt was doing. That was a completed pass. It looked like she was trying to forward lateral. The only problem was it was to Keon Harrison of Atlanta.
Not sure what she was thinking. It did look like she tried to lateral the football. Wow.
The nightmare continues for Omaha.
Warrior Black, the official eye black of LFL athletes.
Back for the final 10 minutes of football. This Atlanta crowd loving every moment of it. As the Atlanta Steam are up 56-0 over Omaha. That is Dakota Hughes wasting no time finding a receiver. This is like Groundhog Day, Bobby.
Unbelievable. Amanda Hogan burnt like toast by Lauren Ziegler again. What a night Ziegler's having. There is no way Amanda Hogan can cover Ziegler one-on-one. Play action pass, which brings them up. It's just a perfect pass by Dakota Hughes. It wasn't bad coverage by Hogan, just a perfect pass.
Now the Atlanta team having a little fun with their crowd. Lauren Ziegler giving a beer to a fan and now enjoying this score as they're up 62-0. I joked about this being an NBA Finals score earlier, but that is exactly what it looks like.
62-0, and there's still 9 minutes left in the game. Unbelievable.
What's the over-under on them breaking 80 points here tonight?
I think it's very high. They're going to break 80.
That is Amanda Ruller. She's been featured pretty much through the entire 3rd quarter, and she extends Atlanta's lead to 63-0.
These are the kind of games where you figure out that coaches' jobs are temporary.
And that is not the look of confidence from Tony Doremus. When everybody thought this team had turned the chapter from last season, this is an ugly reminder.
This is worse than last season. 63-0 already? And they're not. Atlanta is not calling off the dogs. They have their starters throwing bombs.
1st and 10 for the Omaha offense. They've got 9 minutes to try to get some points on the board here. That is a good-looking pass, actually. Completed to Nikki Bernhardt. I'm if there's one bright spot tonight, it's got to be the play of Nikki Bernhardt.
Bernhardt has played solid football tonight. I'll tell you honestly, I'm really happy the way Lindsey Howell here in the fourth quarter delivering strikes. She could have gave up, but like you said, this is going to help her when they play their next game.
Any bit of ray of light we talked about. There's got to be something that you take away from the game film that gives you some momentum going on to the rest of the season. A 1st and 10 play, Howell under heavy pressure again. That is Coco Montgomery. And that's what's been happening all night. That is a loss of 9 yards on the sack.
They just don't have enough people to block the 4 rushers of Atlanta. Lindsey Howell has to just get rid of the football. We saw other LFL quarterbacks throw it away, throw it up in the stands, and you tee it up again, but don't lose yardage.
2nd and 9, ball at the 20-yard line of Omaha. At this point, you just need one solid drive. Hope for a balanced offensive attack. Now Howell under center. Makes the handoff, looking over the middle. Pass intended for Nikki Bernhardt. And I'm not sure if that was intercepted. No, they're going to call it an incomplete pass. Keon Harrison and Teresa Petrozzullo in coverage.
Atlanta called off the dogs there. They only rushed 2 players. They dropped Adrian Purnell in coverage. Howell needs to be able to read that because Purnell should have picked that off and gone in for 6.
3rd and 19 now. That's another problem with this offense. They do not have any big play potential, so it is tough to come back from a 3rd and 19. That is what you end up doing, only gaining a yard. Sarah Jane Thompson.
I hate to say it, but that play selection right there, I know you're down 63 points, but you have to give it a shot to try to get the first down. That looked like the Omaha of last year, just giving up, you know what, you can't punt it now, but, they're not even trying to get the first down.
A 4th and 17. Let's see if they try something down the field. Lindsey Howell does lack the arm strength, but we've seen her have some success. Again, a handoff. To your point, Bobby, this is kind of a give-up play. I don't know why you don't take a shot at least at picking up the first down.
Reminded me a lot of the NBA Finals when they pulled out the starters for Cleveland with 10 minutes left in the game. Right now, Omaha, frankly, just gave up.
And the road does not get much easier for this Hart franchise. They've got to go on the road to Chicago and return home against the battle with a very physical Dallas Desire.
These players have to rewatch how they beat New England, because if they play like this against Dallas and Chicago, they're going to get blown away again.
1st and 10, and Dakota Hughes remaining in at quarterback, which is a bit baffling. That handoff to Tiara Elvin. That is their 4th back in the rotation. To your point, Bobby, they've got some depth.
They have a lot of depth. But I think head coach Dane Robinson is making a point to the rest of the LFL. They got beat by Chicago last year when they thought they're going to win it all. They're leaving Hughes in right now to show how big and bad they are.
They lost to Chicago in the playoffs both of the last 2 seasons. So that is stinging this roster in Atlanta. To your point, that could be a reasoning as to why they're keeping Dakota Hughes in. But in a game that you're up 63-0, I don't care what kind of salty taste you may have in your mouth from the previous season. You've got to sit your star quarterback.
You absolutely do, and you have to get your second quarterback, the backup quarterback, ready to go in case Dakota Hughes gets nicked up during the season.
3rd and 4 now. Nina Wojcicki finally giving some nice snaps back to Dakota Hughes. That pass completed. Jessie Locklear. I really like the performance of Locklear tonight. She's been overshadowed by Ziegler and Demry, but she's become quite the weapon for this Atlanta team.
He is a solid receiver. Great read by Dakota Hughes. She came off the main receiver back to the smash route, which is a safety valve receiver, and she threw underneath. Good play by both of them.
Dakota Hughes very comfortable in this offense. This is her 3rd year. That's a quick screen pass. That was incomplete, intended for Jessie Locklear, but getting back to my earlier point, you could see the confidence in Dakota Hughes. She has no problem assuming the leadership role of this team.
No, she has taken the reins of this team, absolutely.
Offside, 16 defense, half the distance to the goal, repeat second down.
And that is an encroachment call on Omaha. Half the distance, that'll set up a 3rd and 5 for Atlanta.
There's no flag on the play. We're inside the 10-yard line. Second down.
They're going to pick up the flag. Not a stellar night by Gregory Edwards and this officiating staff. You could make the argument this is the worst crew we've seen all season. That's a toss right play and into the end zone. That is Tierra Elvin. How do you like this running back crew? You've got Brittany Demry, Amanda Ruler, Jessie Locklear, and now Tierra Elvin.
There is nobody trying to tackle out there. It's like they're just trying to pull taffy. People try to block these players, and they're pulling at their jerseys like they're pulling taffy, Mitch. This is horrible.
Yeah, I think Coach Tony DeRamus has stopped coaching this game a few quarters back.
They might hit 80. You made a joke about it earlier. There's still 5 minutes left.
This is the extra point attempt. Will account for 1 point. Tierra Elvin having no problem getting into the end zone as Atlanta now leads 70-0. Hughes and the steam rolling. Back to fourth quarter action as the Omaha Heart barely trailed this game 70-0.
You have to play for pride at this point of the game. You're still in the playoff picture. I mean, you can just say it's an anomaly. You're down 70-0, but you have to play for pride right now.
Yeah, there are games that you just take the game film and you start a bonfire with it. I think this is that kind of game for Omaha. There is nothing outside of the play of that young lady, maybe Nikki Bernhardt, that you can point to and be excited about.
We did that in the Peach Bowl, University of Florida. We got beat by West Virginia with the lock of the year. We dug a hole in our practice field. We put a rock, a huge rock, over all the films. We never even watched the films.
University of Florida, the Peach Bowl.
Can you dig a hole in this turf?
Our average audience is about 22 years old. You're referencing a game from the 1940s.
Hey, not that old.
2nd and 4 play. That is a handoff to Sarah Jane Thompson. And you could just talk about this defense all night, namely Coco Montgomery and Brittany Demry. There is no blocking those two.
We've been talking a lot how bad Omaha is playing tonight, but I am really looking forward to watching this Atlanta team play the big boys later in the season.
That is an excellent point. I think we've talked, as you said, and rightfully so, we've really just buried the Omaha performance, but this Atlanta team, starting with a franchise quarterback like Dakota Hughes, and what they've developed as a running game with this very aggressive style defense, that bodes well for them. This is an inside handoff to Vanessa Regis. And Regis gaining 3 yards, not wanting to get up. This is a brutal physical defense that they're lining up against.
To tell you how stacked Atlanta is, we haven't even mentioned that Coco Montgomery used to be an all-fantasy running back for Atlanta. He doesn't even touch the football now. They have so much talent.
Now a 4th and 1 for this Omaha offense. Obviously, the clock not a factor, timeouts not a factor. You just have to make your way down the field and have any form of success. Ball out to near midfield. Al remains at quarterback. Faking the handoff. That was another design release play, had no shot. That ball well overthrown.
4th and 1. Again, I got to question the offensive coordinator and coaching staff. There's a 3-yard bubble. They have to be back to defensive line. 4th and 1, you can run the ball and get it yard and continue the series. They attempt to pass, now they turn the ball over.
Yeah, too often we're hard on the players. This is a horribly coached team as well right now. Okay, when you've got the defense off 3 yards and you only need to gain 1, why are you calling a release play? Why not just turn around, hand it off to your running back, and extend the drive?
Because they have not established any running game all night long, and to win any more games this season, they have to establish the run.
And if you can't gain a yard, you don't deserve to be in this league. A 1st and 10 play. Dakota Hughes not shy going down the field, trying to connect with Angela Eliason. Now they're clearing out the bench for Atlanta.
What do you think of this offensive philosophy by Dane Robinson? 70-0, still throwing the ball down the field.
The only thing I can factor in the LFL in the playoff picture, there is a point differential. So if you're ever tied with someone, that does come into play. So for those at home wondering why they're still in shotgun, why the starting quarterback is still in the game, that could be why. We are officially at the 2-minute warning in a game that Atlanta leads 70-0 with an absolutely heartbroken Omaha. Back for the final 2 minutes of football, and that young lady deserving the suds at midfield, Lauren Ziegler, accounting for 4 touchdowns tonight.
Just a phenomenal game by Lauren Ziegler, one of the best.
And next week on LFL Football Night, we travel to Austin, Texas, where the Los Angeles Temptation come into town to battle the Austin Acoustic. That should be a pivotal game in the playoff picture.
Austin is going to have their hands full. Los Angeles, they're on a mission to win the championship. After what happened to them last year and early in the season this year, they are on a mission.
A 2nd and 10 play. Dakota Hughes remaining in the game. From the shotgun, big-time pressure by Marissa Riley Mitchell. Ooh, big hit on the edge. That is Dina Wojcicki. And Wojcicki having some words for Lauren Fogel. We've got Wojcicki mic'd up. Let's listen in.
That's how you get dropped!
You gotta love the fire of Wojcicki and this Atlanta team. 70-0, less than 2 minutes left, and they're still getting in fights on the field.
That was an 11-yard reception to Wojcicki, setting up a 1st and 10 ball at the Omaha 13-yard line. This looks to be some kind of an option or a screen. That pass complete to Amanda Ruler. Ruler gaining 6 yards, setting up a 2nd and 4.
Amanda Ruler, she's new to this team. She probably doesn't know all the plays. You're right. It looked like a broken play. They made something out of nothing. Dakota Hughes just pitched her the ball, and she did the rest.
And by the way, folks, Dakota Hughes is on the doorstep of history here. That could be one of the reasons she's still in this game. She is throwing for 6 touchdown passes, which ties an LFL all-time record. Now back in the shotgun, Dakota Hughes going to the end zone and finding a receiver. And that is a new LFL league record. 7 touchdown passes by Dakota Hughes.
Just an incredible performance, setting the LFL record. You're right. That's probably why Dane Robinson kept her in the football game. Watch this read. Watch her eyes. He looks at Ruler to the left, and bam, comes back in the corner of the end zone. Nobody there, but that's all by her eyes. Great quarterbacks have great eyes.
What an accomplishment by the 3rd-year quarterback. Now, where does she rank in your eyes? Speaking of eyes, Bobby, when you talk about a KK Matheny, you talk about a Michelle Angel, and you talk about Dakota Hughes, how do you rank those 3?
Right now, I don't think there's any question. Dakota Hughes is number 1. I got Michelle Angel, number 2 of Dallas. KK Matheny right now is not throwing the football well. They're winning football games. She's doing the Heather Furr Chicago routine. She's a great game manager, but she's not playing good football.
That's a good point, but I think when you win championships, and she did lead the league in passing last year, I think there's something to be said for that, and I think she's the veteran of the group. Not to say that Michelle Angel and Dakota Hughes don't have tremendous upside, but those are by far the top 3 quarterbacks in this league.
I think pure passer right now, it is Dakota Hughes, without a question. The way she moves in the pocket, delivers the football. I think Michelle Angel is an up-and-comer, but right now, Dakota Hughes, number 1.
Lindsey Howell trying to finish out the game here under center. They're going to just hand it off, an ugly-looking play. And that is what we're expecting from this Omaha offense right now. That's Mitchell Riley gaining 2 yards on the carry.
77-0. This has never happened ever.
This is a new feat that I'm not sure Omaha was exactly gunning for.
I hope not.
This is one of those games that they're going to look to run the clock here at the last minute 14. Get on a flight back to Nebraska.
We might want to get our producer Jonas to do some research with his crack research team and find out if any football team in the history of the state of Nebraska has been beaten 77-0.
Yeah, that's going to be hard-pressed. I know the Cornhuskers, I don't think they've ever been beaten like this. Any way you look at it, this is an embarrassment to the franchise, an embarrassment to the coaching staff, and hopefully an embarrassment to everyone on this roster. This is something that you've just got to work past and get better.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they come out for their next game. They can't come out like this. They're going to get blown away again. And let's see what kind of heart the Heart has.
We are under 30 seconds remaining, and that clock cannot go fast enough if you're an Omaha Heart fan. Some major collisions late in this game, and if you're wondering who's delivering them, that is Lauren Ziegler. And that will do it for us here in Atlanta, Georgia. What a debut game for the Atlanta Steam. We had not seen them all year, and when we did, they posted 77 points.
Coach Dane Robinson mentioned to me he was happy that they started late in the year. Now they play all their games in the next 2 months. They want to get on a roll.
It is time to celebrate Atlanta, Georgia, as their Steam roll 77-0. And that'll do it for us here on LFL Football Night. For our producer, Jonas Nordman, our director, Amy Rodriguez, Bobby Huco, Desi Mitchison, this is Mitch Mortaza, and we will see you next week in Austin, Texas.